So today I'm sharing the worst makeup of 2022. Honestly, there were so many good launches this year. I feel like in general, brands have really stepped it up, and every single week there are really high quality products launching. But inevitably, as I try new makeup and review it on my channel, there are products I try that just don't work for me, and there are some bad products that brands still launch. So in today's video, I'm going to share all of the products that I did not like. I actually have quite a few of them to share with you in today's video, but stay tuned because my favorite products from the drugstore and high-end brands will be up soon. Those videos are coming this week. But if you want to know some alternatives that I recommend instead of the products I share in today's video, I'm going to link some in the description box below. I always try to find a drugstore and high-end option if applicable, so just check the description for some products I love instead of these. Honestly, I feel like it's obvious at this point, everyone's preferences are a little bit different, skin types are a little bit different. So if you have, different preferences than me or a different skin type, and I think these products will work for you, I'll make sure to share that in today's video. But, that being said, some of these products are they're just bad and I don't recommend them to anyone. I was really excited when I saw Essence was launching the Lash Princess eyeliners. I love the Lash Princess mascaras so much, and I know they do get some mixed reviews. Some people love them, some people hate them, but in general, I feel like a lot of people really enjoy them, and they have quite a few options within the Lash Princess line, so chances are there is one that might work for you. And I just thought it was fun that they were launching liners. I feel like an eyeliner is a lot different than a mascara, but because I had such great luck with the Lash Princess line as a whole, I wanted to try these out, but these were just a fail for me, honestly. First of all, they are very short and the actual eyeliner is pretty thick. So inevitably I end up with really dramatic eyeliner every single time. And that actually is something I might have preferred in the past, but these days I don't really wear really intense eyeliner every single day. But when I use this product, that's what I get. So that for me is a big con. Also, the eyeliner just doesn't stay in place well. And the waterproof one is the worst because it smudges instantly. It's definitely not waterproof at all. There are just so many good eyeliners out there. I don't recommend trying these. The only exception for me is the brown one. Even though the formula itself, again, is not a smudge-proof formula and it does kind of smear and move around by the end of the day, or if my eyes are particularly watery that day, the actual color is really nice because it is a true brown liner, which I really appreciate. So based on that, I hope Essence actually releases a brown Lash Princess mascara in 2023. I feel like that would be really nice to see, but the eyeliners for me were a fail. The Kosas foundation was the worst foundation I tried in 2022, and I think it's partly because I had such high expectations for this. I really wanted to love it because I love the Kosas Revealer Concealer. I'm actually wearing it today, and it is a tried and true favorite of mine. I've repurchased it a few times at this point, but the foundation just didn't work for me. To be honest, I do think this is a very polarizing foundation. Some people love it, some people hate it, and I've heard that from people who have both oily skin and dry skin. So if you want to try this, I maybe recommend just going in stores and getting a sample of it or swatching it to see if you like the texture. But even still, the issue for this is that it doesn't last on my skin. And I haven't tried it in a little while. I'm kind of curious to try this out again because my skin type has changed a little bit. It normally is very oily, but I feel like this year it's kind of moving from oily to combo, and now during the winter it's almost a little bit dry. So I need to actually wear this again. I kind of want to do a video actually applying all of the worst makeup of 2022. I feel like that could be really fun. But the reason why I didn't like this is not because it doesn't look amazing on the skin. When you first apply it, it is so glowy, so dewy, really luminous and gorgeous, but it just doesn't last on my skin. On top of that, I feel like it's kind of hard to, or it doesn't play well with other products. It wouldn't always layer on different primers really nicely. If I layered products on top of it, like cream bronzers or powder blushes, they wouldn't always sit really nicely on top of this foundation. So it just felt very hard to work with. And I just think when I want to wear a foundation, I want something that I know is going to perform well and play really well with other products. So this was a fail for me, but I'm kind of tempted to try it again and see what it's like now that my skin type is a little bit different. I do have another product from Kosas. Unfortunately, you guys, Kosas is a brand that I want to love so badly. But I swear if I go through all of the products I've tried from the brand, there might be one or two that have worked for me. So in 2023, I think I might need to take a step back from Kosas just because it seems like whatever the reason, I just tend to have bad luck with their products and they're not really made for me, my preferences, my skin type, even though they pull me in, they appeal to me. But I tried their lip oils this year kind of recently. I picked these up during the holiday season as like one of the holiday kits available at Sephora, and I was just so unimpressed by the quality. They are not overly glossy, they're not overly hydrating, it just feels like a very mediocre formula. It doesn't feel like anything special, but because they kind of market it as like a lip oil, they say lip oil right on it, kind of like a lip gloss 2-in-1. I just expected it to feel like the Tower 28 lip glosses. That's the expectation I had in my mind, and they don't feel like that at all, and they don't last on the lips. And on top of that, once it does wear off, my lips feel so dried out. These were honestly such a fail. There are too many good alternatives. I tried so many lip products this year. 2023 was like the year of hydrating glossy lip products for me, so because of that, I just don't even really want to mess with these anymore. I feel like they were such a fail, and I'm so sad because, like I said, Kosas, they're like the brand that I want to love, and I just don't. Do you guys have a brand like that? Like a brand that just pulls you in, whether it's their marketing or their launches, and you want to love them, but for whatever reason, their products just don't work out for you? You'll have to let me know. I feel like in the past for me, that was Bare Minerals. Actually, I did try a Bare Minerals product this year too. This is the Bare Minerals Original Liquid Mineral Concealer. I tried a lot of concealers this year as well, and this was the worst. I feel like it's the worst concealer I've ever tried. I did read online that they reformulated like their original formula, which is why a lot of people don't like this one because it's not quite the same as the original. I never tried the original one, but this one creases on me instantly. And listen, concealers crease. If you have lines under your eyes, most likely a concealer is going to crease on you. It's just kind of inevitable, but I do feel like some concealers crease a little bit less than others. This one didn't just crease on me, like it enhanced my fine lines. It made it look like I had more fine lines than I actually do. Even after I set it in place with powder, it would still crease, and because there was powder on there, it made my under eyes look dry at the same time. So I really don't like this product. It's not long lasting. It broke down on me. I couldn't even use it as like a spot concealer. It blended out really nicely, and it does feel really hydrating on the skin, which are definitely bonuses. But there are other concealers I like. The Catrice True Skin Hydrating Concealer has like a very similar texture, a little bit more coverage, but it stays in place all day long and looks super smooth on the skin. So I definitely recommend that one. I'll link it below as well as some other alternatives. I actually have another concealer to talk about in today's video. This is the Huda Beauty #Faux Filter Concealer. I actually really thought that I would enjoy this based on the description online. I believe it's marketed as like a really long wearing, full coverage, smoothing concealer, and I just didn't find that to be the case. Actually, it is a long lasting concealer. It stayed in place really well on my skin, but the reason why I didn't love this is because it looks so dry on the skin. The Bare Minerals one at least is very hydrating, very blendable, so it has that going for it. This one just felt so dry, and I almost think if I was to try this like 2 years ago, I would have loved it because I definitely preferred like true full coverage matte products. But with the way that my skin is changing a little bit and just my makeup preferences in general, I don't necessarily always want something super intense like this. I do think if I held on to this and tried it out during the summertime, it might work a little bit better for me, but to be honest with you, like day to day, I don't wear a lot of concealer. My main concern is like redness and fine lines, so for me, I feel like a heavy concealer isn't necessary, and I've always just applied it because it's been part of my routine. I do want to try the new Rare Beauty Under Eye Brightener. I feel like maybe that's the type of product I'll go for in 2023. I tried 3 products from Haus Labs this year. I'm curious to know what they're going to do in 2023. I actually really liked the big Haus Labs rebranding, the launch. I think they have some really interesting, gorgeous products. And I do like the Haus Labs foundation. I talked about that in a recent speed reviews. I initially said I didn't love the highlighter, and I still wouldn't say it's one of my favorites. It's probably one of my least favorites in my collection, but I've been able to get it to work for me, which is why it's not featured in today's video. But no matter how many times I've tried the bronzer, I just don't love it. And I swear I've tried this like once a week since I initially purchased it months ago, just hoping that I'll fall in love with it because it was expensive and I know people really enjoy this. So part of me is like, am I missing out on something? But it just doesn't work for me. It's the Power Sculpt Velvet Bronzer. I have the shade light level 3. One thing I do like about this, actually two things. I love the packaging. I think it's so beautiful and I just enjoy using it for that reason. I also love the shade of this. I feel like this shade works really well for my skin tone. I love the color, I love the undertone, and I feel like that can be kind of difficult to find in bronzers. So those are two things I appreciate, which is probably why, or the main reason being the actual shade of the bronzer, is probably why I've tried it so many times just hoping it will work for me. But it just doesn't look good on my skin. It looks very patchy, really uneven, and it's weird because when I swatch this, it looks so smooth on the skin. Let me swatch it. Even when I touch it, it just feels smooth, almost like a cream to powder formula. And again, when I blend it in on my hand, like it has this really soft, like blurred quality to it. I don't understand because it doesn't look like that on my skin. It's really throwing me off because it looks so good when I swatch it, but it doesn't translate like that on my face. Another cheap product that just does not look good on my skin is this product. I promise I will stop talking about it after this video because I do feel like it's come up. Well, it's because I purchased it not too long ago, like just a few months ago, and I've been trying it out and trying to get it to work for me, but I just can't. It's the About Face Cheek Freak, what is this called? Blush Balm, and I have the shade Raunchy. It is a very interesting texture. Like it definitely has like a balmy feel to it. And again, it feels like it's going to apply really smoothly. I will say, based on the promo photos, I thought it was going to be a really intense blush, which I was kind of happy that it wasn't, because when I initially swatched it, I was like, oh, okay, it's a lot softer than I thought it was going to be. But I do typically go for like a very soft look when it comes to blush. So I was excited about the fact that it wasn't necessarily quite as intense. But again, when I swatched this product, it looks so smooth on the skin, but it doesn't look like that on my face. And this makes a little bit more sense to me because it is kind of like a balmy texture. I feel like it looks very patchy. It kind of picks up the foundation underneath, and no matter how I apply it, whether I use like a sponge or a stippling brush or I use my fingers, it really does not look good at all. I do have two products from Cali Ray. Cali Ray launched in 2022. At least I think they did. Maybe it was like the very end of 2021. And the founder of Urban Decay is actually the person who launched Cali Ray. So I thought that was kind of interesting because I do feel like the aesthetics are very, very different. But at the same time, I guess that makes sense why they launched another brand. The first thing I'm going to talk about is the Glazed and Infused Plumping Glassy Lip Trip. So this was on my list for a while. I just kind of added it to my loves list, and pretty much every time I was on Sephora's website, I was like, should I try it? I don't need it. Should I try it? I'm curious about it. Eventually, I was like, just pick it up and try it. So I did. I do not think this is worth the $19. $19 is actually a little bit more affordable for a lip product on Sephora's website. But even still, save your money. Don't pick this up. There are so many good lip products, so many good drugstore alternatives that I don't recommend trying this one. This does feel really nice on the lips. I'll give it that. It's very lightweight, really moisturizing. So I like the fact that it's just kind of like an easy formula to apply. But that's pretty much where the benefits end for me. First of all, I do think the photos online look very different than the actual product. I only have one shade. I have Free Palomas, so it could be a different case for the other shades, but they look pretty pigmented online, and this is so sheer that it basically looks like a clear lip gloss on my lips. They claim this is a plumping gloss without the burning or stinging. There is no burning or stinging, which is nice, but there's also no plumping at all whatsoever. It is such a lightweight formula that it doesn't really even make my lips look really smooth and therefore plumped in that way, and there's no visible plumping when I use this product. It really does feel like a $2 lip gloss that you'll just pick up from like a random section at Target or the dollar store or Walmart. It does not feel like a $19 lip gloss. So I think my opinion on this mascara is an unpopular one, because when I've talked about this on my channel in the past, I've gotten so many comments from you guys saying you love it, and so many of you guys said this is like your favorite mascara ever. So just take my opinion with a grain of salt, because this could totally work for you, but the Cali Ray Come Hell or High Water mascara was a complete fail for me. You know how some mascaras, when you apply them, for some reason, they just like clump your lashes together and it looks like you have like 3 long eyelashes on each eye? That's what happened to me with this one. This formula feels so heavy. It weighs my lashes down. There's no lift, there's no curl, no volume, no length. I don't know what it is, but when I use this, my lashes look so much worse than if I just skipped mascara that day. It just feels like a really heavy formula, which is interesting because it is meant to be a tubing mascara. And tubing mascaras are supposed to come off with just a little bit of water. This was impossible to remove. No matter what I use, like my makeup removing cleansing balm or like the Garnier Micellar Water, the waterproof one, I could not get this mascara off my lashes. It was stuck on there. And the next day I would still have mascara on them. So I hate this mascara. It is the worst mascara I've ever tried. But like I said, a ton of you guys love it. So I really do think it's interesting because as I tested out mascaras this year and I talked about them on my channel, I found that mascara, above like every other product I mentioned, had such mixed reviews from you guys. And it's even like that on the internet as well. Like obviously foundation, concealer, lip gloss, eyeliner, everyone has mixed opinions on products in general, but mascara, like it could be your absolute favorite, holy grail, the best you ever tried, and there will be people who hate it. So I don't know, I really do think it's like that one product that you almost have to try for yourself to see if you like it or not. I did try a new brow pen this year. This is the Feather Effect brow pen from ColourPop. I was excited about this because I just love a good brow pen. I think it makes such a difference. And this one is very, very small, super precise. A lot of brow pens I've tried, the tip is a little bit longer, and I thought this might be more ideal so you could create more of like a true precise hair-like stroke, but it's not super flexible. It's a felt tip pen. A felt tip pen, is it? It is, and I feel like when it comes to brow pens, an actual brush is more ideal just because it creates like that thin, tapered look, which is usually what you're going for when you're trying to create the appearance of brow hair. So the actual applicator is not great. This also dries out so fast. Like I think I used it twice before it dried out, and I got mine right when it launched. So it's not even like it was old stock, unless they, you know, came out with these products a long time ago and they just started selling them. I don't know, whatever the case, it was a fail. I just recommend going with NYX or Milani. Another product I tried from ColourPop this year were these eyeliners, and I thought these were fun because they come in really pretty colors. There are jewel tones, some different shades that I don't typically see in eyeliners, and I thought like colorful eyeliner was a little bit fun this year. I tried to incorporate color in some different ways. I tried colorful mascara, colorful eyeliner. I feel like I actually wore a good amount of colorful eyeliner this year, but I think generally when it comes down to it, I usually prefer to incorporate color with eyeshadow. Anyway, I like the fact that they did really pretty colors, but these just don't stay in place, and they don't all apply that well. The deeper shades go on a little bit more nicely, but the lighter shades, they're very streaky and you almost have to build them up on the eye. And if you're not wearing eyeshadow, I feel like they're a little bit easier to build up. But if you're wearing like a shimmery eyeshadow, you're not going to get a super vibrant look. They're going to look really, really faded, and they don't layer well on top of the eyeshadow. On top of that, these are not smudge proof. They're not waterproof. They just don't stay in place well, and they almost start to instantly bleed right when you apply them to your eyes. So as you're applying it, I feel like it just kind of messes up your eye makeup. They're not long lasting. Even though the colors are really fun, you don't get longevity out of them, and they're not really that easy to apply. So I feel like there have to be other better options. I mean, honestly, I would just take an eyeliner brush and spray it with a little setting spray and use an eyeshadow or use a pencil liner. Even though the colors are fun, they're not worth the money. The formula itself is not good. One of the worst palettes of 2022 for me was the Urban Decay Wild Greens. I know some people love this palette, so I'm not saying that it's not worth trying. In fact, in my initial review, I think I said if this palette ever goes on sale, because a lot of Urban Decay palettes do go on sale, it might be worth trying at like 50% off. And I do think at some point this year it was on sale for 50% off. I just think the $44 price tag is ridiculous for what you get, because I just find that the quality is pretty inconsistent, which is not typical for Urban Decay. I'm not an Urban Decay hater by any means. In fact, I feel like I am one of the people who still really likes Urban Decay eyeshadows. Generally, when they launch a new Naked palette, I try it out and review it, and I do end up liking it. But I just found that some of the matte shadows specifically were very inconsistent. They were patchy, hard to blend, they didn't look great on the eyes. And I don't know, for $44, I just expected to perform really, really well. Again, I know there are people who love this, and I think if you can get it for like $22, $25, it might be worth trying because the shimmers in here are pretty. But overall, I personally was just disappointed by the quality, so that's why I'm mentioning it as one of the worst products of the year. I have to say, there weren't a ton of eyeshadow palettes that I would consider to be really bad this year. The majority of them were pretty good. I feel like there were some like mediocre palettes where, you know, the shadow quality was fine, but it wasn't necessarily like a standout palette for me. But as for actual bad quality palettes, really only that one and this one stood out to me. It's the e.l.f. Bite Size palette in the shade, or in the color story Orange Dreamsicle. There's just not enough variety between these shadows. If you have a super fair skin tone, then maybe you'll enjoy this one, but I feel like all of the shadows end up blending together and looking very, very similar on my eyes. The thing that really annoyed me about this is the initial promo photo looked so different than this actually looks in person. And that's like one of my big pet peeves when it comes to makeup products. If you're going to share swatches or even like photos of the product, just make them look accurate. I know e.l.f. can do it because I feel like the majority of their bite-sized palettes are pretty accurate to what you actually get, but this looked really dark online. Not necessarily really dark, but it looked like there was a lot more variety than you actually get. So that is one reason why I don't like this. Also, like I said, they all end up looking kind of similar on my eyes, and the actual quality doesn't feel quite as good as their other bite-sized palettes. I love the bite-sized palettes so much, but this one feels like a little bit chalky, a little powdery. The Jason Wu Extra Pout Lip Plumper was a definite fail for me. It's very strong. Like it has when you apply this product, like your lips burn, they sting. It has that true lip plumper feel to it, kind of like the Too Faced lip injections, but there's no payoff. When I use this product, my lips do not look visibly plumped at all. It's basically like a clear lip gloss that burns your lips, and it's not even like the glossiest formula out there. So I think you are better off just actually paying for a lip plumper that works, or buying a clear lip gloss for like $3 from e.l.f. that gives you a very glossy finish. I really don't understand this one. It was an absolute fail. I haven't tried a ton of products from Jason Wu. I have tried a lip liner, an eyeshadow palette, and those were really good, but the lip plumper just didn't work for me. I actually have two other lip products I want to share with you. This is the Catrice Ultimate Stay Water Fresh Lip Tint. Okay, so this is interesting in theory. It's basically like a lip stain, but a little bit more subtle. It's very lightweight on the lips. It just gives your lips like a very subtle tint, which is really pretty, but it dries my lips out so badly. And after just like an hour, I feel like my lips look kind of crinkly and dry and they feel uncomfortable. The only way that I would really recommend using this product is if you're going to apply a clear lip gloss on top, because then it kind of takes away the fact that it is such a drying lip product. If you wear this under a clear lip gloss, I feel like the color does last pretty well, but on its own, it's just such an uncomfortable product. I don't know. I feel like there were a couple of lip stain launches this year that were really comfortable and also did a great job of staining your lips, like the e.l.f. Glossy Lip Stains. Flower Beauty makes a great one. This one, even though it sounds nice and it does give your lips like a really pretty subtle color, it's just too drying for me. Same thing with this Pixi Lip Balm. What got me about this one is they claim that it is super hydrating, incredibly nourishing. It has like all these ingredients that are supposed to make your lips feel really soft. It dries my lips out instantly. Like the second I put this product on, it feels like my lips are dry. It does give like a really pretty soft, subtle tint, but a lip balm, like that should not be drying your lips out at all. Again, I feel like 2023 was like the year of hydrating, glossy lip products that are so comfortable. So anything that dries my lips out is like an absolute no. I think that's everything I have to share with you. Oh, one more product. Where is it? I don't have it with me. I'll put a picture on the screen for you. The Tower 28 lip liners. Actually, they're kind of meant to be like lip liners, eyeliners, cheek products all in one. I just tried these recently and they did not work for me. They are super creamy, very, very easy to apply, but they don't dry down. So if you're looking for a lip liner to really extend the wear of your lip product, these were a definite fail. Also, I feel like when brands market something as like a lip liner, an eyeliner, a cheek product, it's like just commit to one thing, because in general, when that happens, it's not going to perform well in most of those categories. I don't know about you, but I'm not applying a lip liner on my eyes and then also on my cheeks. Like I feel like just stick with separate categories, and if they had made it an actual lip liner, it would have been more ideal if it truly dried down and didn't necessarily have like quite the blendability that it does, because even though I do want my lip liners to feel really creamy, in general, I want them to stay in place. So those were a fail for me. I don't recommend them. They're not even sold at Sephora. Most of Tower 28's products are at Sephora, but I wonder if those Did it make the cut? I don't know exactly how it works, but I just don't like those. Okay, that's everything I wanted to share with you in today's video. Those were the worst makeup products I tried this year. Again, I will make sure to list some alternatives in the description box below. And my favorite makeup products of the year will be up very, very soon. And I'll see you guys very soon with a new one. Bye.